Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Day Chats. If you've listened to the update video, then you know that today I am here with one of my really good friends. Her name is Yannet, and I have her here. We're doing a little virtual episode today, and we have a really excited one planned for you, but I will let Yannet introduce herself real quick before we get right into it.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Yannet, as Daisy mentioned. We're really good friends. We both met in college and we both have very good experience with dating apps and the dating world as early 20s, mid 20-year-olds.
Yes, and exactly how Yannet said it, today's episode, we will be talking all about dating apps and meeting men off of there and the crazy things we've done in the past. So definitely stay tuned for this episode. If you have had any dating app stories yourself, definitely share. If you're watching this on YouTube, share down below. Or if you're listening onto your favorite streaming service, definitely let us know through our Google form that we have on our Instagram. So let's get right into it, Yannet. How many dating apps have you used? How long have you used them? Give us a little bit of a debrief about what your background with dating apps are.
Well, to begin with, I was on dating apps from my sophomore year of college all the way through, like, even after graduate school. So for context, that's about 5 to 6 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm a veteran into the dating apps and everything. I've tried everything in the mainstream, like Tinder, Bumble, Hitch. I even tried Facebook dating for a while. So I have a lot of stories to tell. The reason why I even started with dating apps is I felt like everyone else was doing it. Everyone in my friend group, everyone I went to college with. I went to college in a commuter school, so my range of people that I could meet was very large.
Yes.
I met people, like, for context, we live in a San Diego, like northern San Diego area, so I met with people from like southern San Diego, like even all the way up to LA, like that big, large range. The reason why I started with dating apps is because I was probably like fresh out of childhood and I was ready to enter adulthood. Growing up, I never got that much male attention. I guess I really didn't think I was very attractive. So I feel like an avenue to get that male attention was through dating apps.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, so the reason why I started with dating apps is also I didn't want a serious relationship. I loved the freedom. I loved the independence. I knew what I was getting myself into.
So which one was one of the first apps that you downloaded? Like the very first dating app that you've ever heard of back when you were a sophomore?
Tinder.
Same.
Good.
Okay, tell me, how did you hear about it?
So one of my friends from college, she met her partner through Tinder. And I was telling her how, like, I love being single and I think it's so fun. You know, I love being free and not having to put a different person into everything. So I was telling her about that. And I was trying to ask her, like, why is she so happy with somebody? How is she happy in a relationship? And she said, well, you know, I didn't really plan on it. It just happened. And it was because of Tinder. And so I was interested in, like, keeping that independence and being, like, sexually liberated and getting my needs met. So that's why I downloaded Tinder.
I love it. I think the first time I heard it was my summer. So we probably were no, never mind. I was gonna say we were the same age, but no. It was my freshman year of college, the summer right before college. I remember my friend at the time, we went to go visit her and we stayed with her for like a weekend or something. And she's like, oh, have you ever heard of Tinder? And I was like, Tinder, what is that? And this was like back in 2015. So this was my freshman year of college. And she was like, oh, it's where you can go and meet guys and like hook up with them and, you know, get to know them and stuff like that. So it was me and like 2 other friends who ended up staying the night at her house that weekend. So we all downloaded Tinder. And I remember thinking, like, these men are so ugly. There's nothing but military guys, a bunch of Marines, because if you've heard the pod before, then you know we went to school in undergrad in San Marcos, and that is like right next to Oceanside where the Marine base is. So, you know, lots of Marines. You will meet literally a Marine at some point in your undergrad time, even if you're not on dating apps. Like,
Right.
they're just everywhere. You know, thank you for your service, but when it comes to dating, y'all are dogs. Literal dogs.
I feel like, you know, like disclaimer, like thank you for your service if you're one of the good ones and if you're loyal and everything.
I mean, even if you're trash dating wise, still,
but
hats off to you.
I feel like that was my experience as well. Like, I remember just like having my friend make my profile for me.
Yeah.
And then choosing my pictures and then like scrolling through and seeing like everyone in uniform. And I used to not think that way before. I thought being in uniform was super hot and like,
yeah,
you know,
don't get me wrong. Oh wait, hold on. I totally forgot to record. So let me start recording this. Yeah, no, I still think to this day, a man in uniform, oh my gosh, a man in a uniform has a hold on me. And it's something I don't admit to the masses. You'll never catch me posting it somewhere where, you know, general people will know. The pod, I feel like we're a little fam, so it's fine. You guys can know. But I mean, I'm even a man, oh my gosh, a Navy man. A Navy man. Oh my gosh, Navy man. Captain. Oh my gosh. I've had good experiences with Navy men. They're the only exception for military for me as of now. And maybe Air Force. I haven't had any experiences with Air Force.
You're open-minded.
I'm open-minded. You know, Marines are totally off for me.
And they're the one closest to us.
I know.
The one closest to us in college.
Yeah.
No. I know you had your horror stories of like trying to date military men where you're trying to get onto Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
You cannot.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Honestly,
it's a trip.
Very proud to say that has never happened to me.
You know what though? But you've lived so many experiences. So why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about so you mentioned you've used Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, and Facebook dating. And I've also used all 4. So for me, Tinder right now is like the one that I've always gone back to. I've had okay success with Bumble. I just don't like that the women have to reach out first.
Yeah, me neither.
Hinge, I feel like Hinge is a hit or miss for me. So, and we talked about this when you came over for our Halloween party, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit. But Hinge for me, I feel like the more I use it, the more it gives me good matches. Like, I don't know if you remember my Border Patrol guy that I dated last year. I met him from Hinge and just some other people that I talked to here and there. But I have thoughts and feelings about Hinge. But I think Tinder for me is the one that I like. I've met some of my exes on there that I've been with for like over a year. So I like Tinder. It's like a good little mix of hookup only versus I want to find like a relationship type of thing. What about you?
Well, I would disagree. When I had Tinder, I only used it for a year, and then I found out about Bumble and Hinge. The reason why Tinder, I don't think it's for me, is because it can get really overwhelming.
Really?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I don't want to sound very like pretentious.
No, sound it. Be you. Okay, if there's anything about Yannet, she is a high class girl. Like, think very posh. That is Yannet.
Very sophisticated.
Yes.
No, I just felt like Tinder was just
a little trashy.
It's kind of it's a little class that's like getting something, but not getting other benefits. Yes. Like the men there would be like, let's hook up. And I'll be like, can you like tell me I'm pretty? Can you like take me out to dinner? Can you just act like you care? You know? And those are the benefits in dating. And a lot of people could disagree with me. But like if you're dating just to date, those are the benefits where you can get pampered and be taken out to dinner and told you're pretty. Because we don't get that as single women. We don't get that all the time from our partners. So that's something that we crave, and something that I craved when I was dating so frivolously and not thinking about having a committed partner.
Okay, so when you were dating around, were you dating to be wined and dined, or were you wanting to be wined and dined, but also hoping that it would turn into something a little more official, something like, yes, I would be open and I would want a boyfriend?
No, I was dating to just be taken out temporarily and then like getting what I wanted
Mm-hmm.
and then
What did you want? Like, what were the things that you wanted out of your dating experiences?
I wanted to be like wine and dine and then go have sex. Like that was my goal.
What? Okay,
And then
so like, what is wined and dined for you? Like, what is your standard of being wined and dined?
so like go on a date, like for example, go bowling or like go to the movies and then go to dinner.
Wait, you like going to the movies for a date?
Yeah, you don't?
No. I had a guy take me on a first date to the movie theater, and it was one of my least favorite experiences. I wouldn't say it was a worst date. I just think it was such a terrible idea. First of all, we sat all the way in the very front because it was a popular movie, so everything was like sold out. We did go to like the fancy movie theaters with like the recliner seats, the bar, and things like that. So back in the day, I was more like, oh, yeah, like we can go half and half, no worries. So I think I paid
No.
for the tickets and he paid for the drinks and the food. And so we had to sit in the front. It was my first time meeting him, and it was a movie that I actually wanted to watch. So the fact that he was talking to me the entire time of the movie, I was so annoyed, like, beyond annoyed. And then at the end of the movie, he tried to kiss me and I was just not feeling it. So I like leaned back, and it was this awkward, like me leaning back, him leaning forward. And he was like, oh, I'm just trying to hug you. And so I went in for the hug, and it was an awkward bye. Like he tried to touch my hair and I was like, don't touch my hair. It was so awkward.
I can understand that. But probably not for a first date. But
Yeah.
like some of these men I would date like either weeks or like
Okay.
even sometimes months. And that was on a rare occasion. That was probably because I actually started to like them, or like I just thought that it was just convenient to have
Right.
one partner because they were just there. But I don't mind going to the movies. I mean, I did have a really bad experience with the movies, and it's kind of like yours.
What happened?
It was like, okay, so he picks me up. Very bad idea. Right. Don't let anyone pick you up.
Not for a first date.
Not for a first date. So he picked me up. We went to go pick up like you would food before you go to the movie theaters, so you can eat it in there. We went to go get food, and then we went to the movie theaters. We ordered drinks, but he ordered like I don't know how many like drinks. Like he was gonna get down.
Yeah, he was trying to get hammered.
Here, like with my little glass of wine, like okay. So he just starts like trying to like you said, like trying to kiss me or like trying to hold me, and I was really uncomfortable. Like at that moment, I was like, oh. I would probably be okay with it if I was attracted to him, because I wasn't. Yeah, I was not okay with it. I was like, I don't want this from you, not from you.
Yeah, you're like anyone else, but not from you.
And like for anyone listening, like. You don't owe anybody anything when you go on these dates. Just because they are treating you or taking you out, you don't owe them anything.
Exactly.
And this is what I did. I said, my head hurts. I'm leaving. I called an Uber and I went home.
As you should. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine how awkward that would have been.
I feel very uncomfortable. And I was like, this is just a bad date. And as in many other bad dates that I've had, I have always learned that it's not me that is the problem.
It's never you.
It just doesn't work out. Yeah. You know? Either they're not interested in me after a date or two and they ghost me. I've gotten ghosted many times. And I just learned that, like, okay, they were interested in me and they just didn't have the balls to tell me that they're not interested. So I feel like after being with dating for so long and dating other like different types of men, because I've dated everything. It's okay for you to communicate with that person and say, sorry, I don't like you. And for them to tell you that same thing back. Yes.
What do you look for, or what did you look for at the time? Like, what was your type when you first started dating apps, and how did that progress into what it most recently is your type? Which is, as long as I've known you, you had the same type. Different like flavor or different like sub flavors, like they're all in the same house,
Yeah.
Just different, like, relatives of them.
Well, at first I was really interested in like my community, Latinos. I was really like, I like the whole like,
The Mexican.
mannerism of like then opening the door for you and like buying you flowers. And, like, I feel like Latino men are just more romantic in that way, so I was more interested in them. But I did date this one white guy that like completely changed my frame
He
of
shook
like
your world.
who I wanted. I just felt like, I was more interested in dating white men because it wasn't, it was just something that I wanted to experience because I always had the same type of men in high school growing up.
Which was?
There was like, it was like all Latinos as well. So it was, I like kind of the culture shock of like dating someone who wasn't from your culture.
Yeah.
And how they like lived life differently, and I could share how I live life, and then being like super surprised about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch.
Something about white men loving a spicy Latina. It's a good little mix.
Stereotype is so funny, but kind of
it's so annoying. It's so annoying. But in between like two Hispanics, it's funny. Yeah. If I ever hear a white person say, "Oh my God, I want a spicy Latina," shut the fuck up. Shut up before I smack you. Like, Latinas are not spicy. Like, do not classify them as spicy, Yeah. I hate that. But continue. That's like,
I feel like it's
my
different
hot take.
because we were raised a certain way, and
we're just assertive.
We just have a lot of character.
And a lot of passion.
Yeah, and not all of us are like this, too.
Exactly.
We also have diversity in the Latina community as well.
And some of us just grew up with toxic behaviors that we learned.
Machismo as well.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of unlearning. But that's a conversation for another day.
That's another conversation, too. But also, a lot of the men that I've dated, too, they would think that, like, that's kind of, like, the aura to me, or, like, that's kind of what attracts them to me, because I'm just this spicy woman from Mexico, because I'm actually born in
Oh, yeah. You're born in Mexico.
And then some of them just end up disappointed.
Yeah, because you're not living up.
This picture that they've made in their head that I'm not assertive, I'm actually not confrontational at all. I don't have to scream. Just like maybe if I go to a baseball game, but like
Yeah. So what are so for those of you who've never been on a dating app, essentially they're all pretty much the same. So you are presented with a picture of a person, and they have some kind of function where you can press or swipe one way or another. Usually left means that you're not interested and right means that you are interested. It can vary maybe on app to app. I know other apps like Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, maybe.
I don't know.
Never tried those two. Oh, Chispa. Have you ever used Chispa?
I've heard of Chispa.
Chispa is a dating app for Latinos to date within each other. It's pretty interesting. But they're all pretty much the same function. So you are judging someone based on their looks. You can say whatever you want, but you being on a dating app, you are being judged by how you look, and you are judging others by how you look. I know for me personally, I look at their first picture, and if I like what I see, I will keep swiping on other pictures, or I'll look at their bio. Their bio is very important to me, but obviously the first thing is the looks,
Right. We're being honest here.
Yeah, it's about the looks. Like, you have to sell yourself. And that's why even when you post pictures of yourself, you want to post your best looking pictures, but you want to make sure that you actually look like your pictures. You don't want to post pictures that have a bunch of filters, and that you don't look nothing like you, anything like that.
Yeah, I've had plenty of men who tried to do the catfishing. There was this one time where there's like really, really hot guy that I matched with, and I was super excited. I was like, there's no way this guy. I was like, I'm trying to be humble here, but like, this man was so fine.
Yeah.
And then we go out to dinner, and then he's just like, he does look like his picture, but it just looks like he's not well put together. Like, he did not put a lot of effort into that date.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like disappointed. And And I give him a try. I'm like, okay, I'll have dinner with him and everything. And turns out that he just spills a lot of baggage. He was like, he had a child.
Oh.
And he was trying to get back in school. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this with him right now. No offense to any
dads,
people trying to date with children, but it just wasn't what I wanted. And since I didn't want a serious relationship at that time, I didn't feel like it was worth the entertaining.
Yeah, I've always been a magnet for DILFs.
I know you have. You really want to be a stepmom. I know you do.
It's in my destiny. It's going to be in my, like, somewhere in there. I'm going to end up being a stepmom or something. Or, I don't know, adopting a child it's written in my destiny somewhere.
I love that. And I feel like what you're saying, Daisy, is like, you do have to, like me, like I wanted something casual. And, you have to put your intentions out there too. Like, do you want kids? Do you not want kids? What religion?
That is so important.
Like, I'm an atheist, and dating as an atheist was difficult with men who were really religious. Also, like, how you grew up, like socioeconomically, like where you went to college.
Question.
Yes.
So I follow this girl on TikTok. Her name's Anessa Rossi, and she posed this question, and obviously she talked about it, of whether or not you would date someone that's outside or below your socioeconomic status. And so now that you have a big girl job and you're making, entry-level big girl money,
right.
You just graduated from your MPA, you have your first, like, post-grad job. Would you date someone who makes significantly less than you do?
I would be open to it, but I feel like my only critique would be like, if he doesn't have ambition, I'm not doing it. Yeah. I think ambition is so sexy. Like,
yes, it is.
Honestly, I don't care what type of job you have, as long as you think that this is your passion and you just want it super bad and you're going to work so hard to get it. That's more attractive than, like, whatever position you already have, in my opinion.
Okay, I like that. I like that. What are some...
Oh,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I have dated men who grew up in different families, grew up with money, grew up without money. I have dated guys of different religions, but it's never worked.
Yeah, no, I think religion is like one of those... I mean, for me personally, it's one of those big deal breakers. Like for me, for instance, I would want someone who is more spiritual, not too religious. Like if you are... Don't get me wrong, I believe in God, but I'm not religious. So if you are a diehard religious, like you think people go to hell for not believing in what you do, you and I could not even be friends, like at all. So there's no chance that you and I would ever have a chance dating, So like things like that, like that's important. And I think when you are on those dating apps, first things first, you need to know why you're on those apps and be honest with yourself. Because I don't know about you, Yannet, but I have found myself sometimes going on when I was a little younger, like in my early 20s, going on because I wanted attention or going on because I felt lonely and saying, oh, I'm just bored, And then I would just constantly crave whatever attention any guy would give me.
Oh, for sure. Me too. And that's one of the main reasons why I even downloaded dating apps to begin with. Dating apps are super easy to get attention. And
if you are a woman. Can't say the same for men, unfortunately.
Female, straight, cisgender.
Yeah, because I don't even know what it's like for the gay men out there. But for the woman, like, men have said it countless times. I guess on them, it's really hard to find women because a lot of them either only post their OnlyFans or their Patreons or whatever, like links and things like that, or their bots. So, I mean, it seems pretty rough out there for the men. But as a woman, I mean, it's pretty great.
As much as women have trouble with dating apps, men do as well. Mm-hmm. I've had friends who've, like, had women steal from them.
Oh my God.
And as much as we face danger with dating strange men on the internet, so do men. And I feel like that's something people don't talk about and it needs more conversation, but I feel like I'm not the correct person to speak
Right.
about this subject
Me
because I have
either.
never experienced it from a male's perspective.
Me either.
But it is, I do think it's an important one to talk about.
Yeah, maybe I'll
For
have
sure.
like another guest on here that who is male that has used dating apps before, because my friend, and you know which friend, my friend, he has used dating apps, but he doesn't use them anymore because he gets no likes, no matches. And I've taken really good pictures of him where he looks really great. Like, you know, there's someone is bound to do it. And there's like not a lot. But even other men, other friends that I have that are, I mean, even if I'm not attracted to them, they are conventionally attractive. They say like there's like very little likes. You know, I don't.
Well, I feel like there's more. I feel like the algorithms and the logistics and data in dating apps is that like there's more men on these apps than there are women.
There are women, yeah.
So it's kind of like a hunt for the best looking woman and for the man itself.
I know, because all dating apps are a hit or miss. You're gonna meet some guys that are faking their intentions and will tell you what you want to hear. And then there are guys who want more than what you're willing to give. Yes. And then there are guys that are just straight up going to tell you like, no, like you are number 59 on my roster. You know, like you're a Thursday at 1 a.m. type of call, you know, type of
There's
thing.
different types of men with different types of intentions.
Yes. So
with a lot of issues as well. We're all human with complexities and trauma. So it's really important if you are someone who has never tried dating apps and is trying to get into it, don't get your hopes up too quickly. Yeah. But also just
have fun. Be safe. Yes,
try to use it as it's a lighter tone. Don't take it too seriously. And I feel like that's how I always approach dating apps. And the conversations that I've had with my friends about the men that I've dated, because I have myself gotten my feelings hurt through meeting some of these men on here. Yeah. I feel like from all the 5 years that I've been dating, like a total of 3 men like really hurt me. And that's, a trauma that you also bring in when you date the next person. Yeah. You have to heal before you go on to the next person as well. And see, I find that I tend to go on Tinder the most. I think like I said, I've gone on Tinder and I've met 2 boyfriends from it. So my first one I met back in 2016, I think. I met him 2016 and we broke up in like mid 2017. That's a long time. Yeah, we were together for a long time. And at the time I was so young. I was like 20. I was 19 when I met him. And he broke up with me on my 20th birthday. And if you listen to the pod, I've talked about this before. So I met him like right after I turned 19 and, we were together for like a year. Right. And then so we broke up. I was, did the whole heartbroken thing. When I was a little bit ready, I jumped back into Tinder to kind of like, get attention and relieve that loneliness that I was feeling. I mean, you go from talking to someone every single day, having a partner, and then now you guys are broken up and you want someone to fill in that gap. Went on Tinder, met lots of crazy people in between. And then I ended up, at the end of 2017, I ended up meeting this guy that I ended up dating for like another year. So I was only single for like a few months by the time that we broke up to the time that I met my next boyfriend. And I was with him on and off until like 2018, 2019. Right. So it was like over a year that we were on and off together. And then in between, I was dating other people because we weren't always official or anything like that. And I turned 21. So, I was going out more. But I tend to go on kind of like as a rebound type of thing. And then that's why sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm single, but I haven't really been like single, where like I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just doing me. And I feel like during my early 20s, I did a lot of that where I was like, quote unquote, single, but I was still entertaining other men. I was still talking to them. And within the past like 2 years, I think was the first time that I was actually like, okay,
I'm actually going to be single. Then I ended up meeting like the Border Patrol guy during COVID. And like that whole thing was just like another shit show. But what I will say though, what I do like about Hinge and what I like about Bumble is that they put the guy's height on there. Obviously, you have to put your height too, but I'm pretty tall. So I'm 5'7".
I'm 5'3", so.
Yeah. So I like to go, recently I'm more open to like other men of heights. And the last guy I sort of dated was a short king. But typically I go for taller men. I like a guy who's like 5'10" to 6 feet taller. Like my last ex was 6'4", so that's like kind of the range that I'm going for. So I really do like that Bumble and Hinge have those heights. Tinder, you just enter it on a bio and you better hope that that person isn't lying.
I mean, I'm kind of biased, I think, with Hinge, because that's where I met my current boyfriend on Hinge. So I kind of need to give Hinge a little credit.
Yeah.
I think.
See, that's how I feel about Tinder. Because I've met other men that I've like actually been with and dated, I like Tinder. In fact, oh my gosh, okay. So a couple weeks ago, I went to a Viking festival. Right. And
you're Viking man.
For the last couple of years, I've really been into a Viking looking man. And so I went to a Viking festival.
With the beard?
With the beard and everything. Yeah. So I went to this Viking festival, and I don't know if it was when I went with my friend or when I went with my mom, because I went both days. And I saw there was the station of a blacksmith station. So they were making armor straight like they would back in the day in the shows, or like back in the day that I've seen on shows. And so this guy is like working on some metal or whatever. And I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute. And I genuinely had a question about that station because I saw that they had a flyer there for blacksmith classes. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I would love to learn how to make my own weapons, like how to make a knife or how to make like some bow and arrows, things like that. So I ask about it. This lady, calls this guy for, questions about it because she didn't know. So, me and him are kind of talking strictly about the event. He's giving me information, really cute. And I was like, okay. And I remember thinking, oh man, I kind of want to check Tinder to see if he's on there because you can change the miles. So if I put 1 mile, if he's there, like he'll pop up. But I personally, not that there's nothing wrong with being on dating apps. It is 2022.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Everyone is doing it. I feel like I would have never had these experiences with different men if it weren't for dating apps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Same.
I was a completely different person second year of college than I am now. Like, not because of dating apps, because of my experiences. And I would have never had in the guts to, like, ask a guy out, like, out in public. Like,
yeah.
It's just not something that I think we're used to in our generation. Like, we're just used to talking to people on the phone a lot.
Yeah.
And just meeting them.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. But I will say I still get embarrassed to get notifications. I do not have my notifications on for any. Right now, I only have Tinder, but I do not have my notifications on. If you ever catch me on Tinder, my brightness is all the way down. It's dirty. Like I'm not next to any. It is like a top secret. But
I wasn't embarrassed. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I wasn't really embarrassed. I was just more embarrassed of like other people that I knew see me on these apps. Like,
it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Or like someone from my class in college. Like I studied politics, and like I knew who was on which side. Yeah. And if they saw me on these apps, I was like, no.
See, for me, I studied sociology, so. First of all, sociology was very female oriented or female led. So lots of girls and women in my classes, but the few men that we did have, they were more left leaning. But I was a criminology minor, and our school doesn't have a criminal justice program. We just have criminology and justice studies. So all of the men who wanted to study criminal justice and wanted to be cops were studying criminology. So those men, you kind of knew, like, kind of where they stood. Yeah, they're the Blue Lives Matter. Well, not to stir the pot or to be devil's advocate. So, but I would say, though, like, I loved swiping when I knew the class was almost over. I would love swiping on them right to see if we match. Because if we match, then I know there was always that sexual tension. Always.
Honestly, same. I would just, one day I was just like, I just want to know what they're about. So I just decided on swiping on somebody, and we went on a date, and I was just like, you're actually not that much of a bad person. You just believe in crazy shit.
I know. And that's the crazy thing about dating people with like different political views, is that sometimes they surprise you and you're like, you're actually like,
you're what?
You're like kind of cool. You're kind of nice. Like, granted, we believe in different fundamental human basic rights issues on that. But if we just take away the politics, like, you're not that bad.
That's also something that you should consider if you're trying to get on dating apps, is that you're going to meet people who are not in your political spectrum.
Yes.
And you have to see how much you tolerate with dating these people.
Yeah.
And I have dated somebody who was, Christian, like pro, like Trump and stuff, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah. No, there was a
like,
guy
why am I still here?
There was a guy. Well, actually, let me go back real quick. Let me finish this and then
let's go back. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We got off track. It's okay. So I wouldn't say I met this guy. It's not like we talked about personal things. He just answered my questions. It was like not a big thing. But I remember taking a video, and he was like somewhere in the back, because I took a video of him, of the blacksmith doing, because there was like two men there. And last night this was like, I went, I think last month to Viking Fest, and last night I was scrolling on Tinder, or swiping on Tinder, and I see this guy, and I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute. He's got the beard. He's like 28 or something like that, like in his late 20s, which is, I like older men, older than me, but not too much older. So he's fitting so far the description. Then I see that he is wearing a medieval outfit, and I recognize the background that he posted, like a video, right? So on Tinder, and I think most dating apps now, you can post a video instead of a picture. You can post like a variety of them. So you get like anywhere from like 4 to like 9, 8 slots where you can put pictures and videos. So he posted this video of him doing some blacksmith work. And I'm like, that outfit looks really familiar. And that place that he's working on looks really familiar. So I swipe right, because first of all, I think he's attractive. Red flag though, he has a cat. So that's my personal red flag. So we don't match automatically. And so when you match, it means that that person also liked your profile and swiped right, that they said, I like this person. I want to get to know them. I want to talk to them. So when you swipe right and you say, I like this person, I want to talk to them, you guys, if they've already swiped you, you guys automatically match. If you do not automatically match, it means that either A, they did not swipe right on you, or B, you haven't shown up in their cards, which is what it's called. So you haven't shown up in their profile. And when you do show up, because you like them, it'll show up. And if they like you back, then you guys match. So that happened last night. We didn't match. But today, in the middle of work, I saw that I had a new match, and it was him. And so I was like, okay. So I waited for him to message me, because there's one thing about me, and it called me petty, but I will not message a guy first. I've never liked it. That's why I don't like Bumble, because Bumble, the woman has to message the guy first. And something about a woman chasing a guy is just not my cup of tea. I've done it like once, and that guy ended up ghosting me, and I was like, never again. So I waited for him to message me, and he did. So I was like, hey, I know this is really weird, but did you happen to volunteer or work at the Viking Festival in Vista? And he's like, yeah, I did. Why? And I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like you looked really familiar. And I recognized that background. And in my profile, I have a picture of me that I took when I went to the Viking Festival. It was not my house, but I took a picture of my like medieval costume.
Yeah.
So it's like a full body medieval costume. I'm wearing a dress and like the ruffle shirt and everything. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, I wonder if he remembers me. And, he said something funny and I said something funny back. And then we just started talking, back and forth. But I was like, now that is what I call a small world and a coincidence of dating apps, is that you can match with people that you've met in real life. And it's not the first time that I've matched with someone that I know. And I mean, not that I know him in real life, but like technically I met him already, you know? But
watch out. Pretty soon, Daisy is going to have a new man.
No, oh my gosh, girl. Okay, let me tell you. So I matched with that guy, right? Let's call him Viking Man, whatever. So I matched with the Viking Man.
I like that.
And so there, you and I, okay, so we were talking about it. So Yannet and I are in a group chat with our other friend. And our other friend, I don't know how it came up, but this guy that I've dated in the past, I went out with him not that long ago to handle some business. You know what I mean? And the business was not handled.
He did not deliver.
He did not deliver. The workup for it was not to standard as it normally is. And it's not the first time that he and I have handled business before.
I'm having like PTSD of the times where I have had horrible experiences where a man has not delivered. And I'm just like,
it's a crime.
I hate this.
It's a crime.
Continue.
No, they literally like need to compensate you. It was so bad. Like this guy and I, so we hung out. He asked me out on a date. And this is the guy that I've dated in the past. Let's call him, I don't know, Freddie. So Freddie and I met like years ago. We've dated in the past. We've hooked up in the past, and he's asked me out multiple times, like to go on a date. I don't think he wants anything serious. I think he's just like, he likes that company or whatever. And I'm fine with it because I don't see him as a boyfriend potential, but I do enjoy also like being wined and dined. And he has always usually delivered, you know? so I'm like, okay, not a problem. So I go out with him. And, you know, we did some stuff, but not all things. And so and, you know, I wonder if he listens to this podcast because he does follow me on Instagram.
I'm pretty sure some of the men that I have mentioned discreetly will come across this podcast and like probably text me like, do you still miss me? Why are you talking
Absolutely
about
not. They're all blocked.
Not.
Yeah. So, you know, we go out, we have a good time, and he's like, I want to see you again. I want to take you out again. And I told him, you need to get us a room next time because we did it in his car. And it was the first time he ever doing it in a car. And he has a truck. He has a really big truck. So it was really comfortable and it was fine. But I am a lady. You're going to take me out, you know, like you're going to do the whole shebang if you want to get with me. And so he did. He wanted to get us a room, but it was the next day was my friend's birthday. And then the day after that, I had a lot of things going on that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I was like, I don't have time to spend the night with you. And so I was like, I don't want him to think that I'm going to spend the night with him. And it's not that I owe him anything, but there's also a genuine friendship behind us. So it's different than if he were just some random guy. If it was some random guy, I wouldn't care if he would have gotten a room. But because I have formed a genuine friendship with him, I do care if he spends money and I'm not there, you know, like, because we do have really good conversations as just platonic friends. And so I was like, okay, the last time we did it, it was great in the car. It was really great. You know, I was really satisfied. So you know, I was okay doing it in the car again. And we did it and it was awful. It was the worst, like 2 hours of my life. I was so uncomfortable. My neck was hurting at the end of it. I knew he was just embarrassed. We haven't talked since then. And it's been like over a month. It's been like almost 2 months since that happened. And the first time he messaged me again after that was like literally this past weekend because he's a Dodger fan and I'm a Padres fan. And the Padres beat the Dodgers. So he was like, you know, messaging me about things like that. So this is the first time that we talk in like 2 months after that whole fiasco. But yeah, no, it was just, I totally forgot why we even started talking about this.
Well, I feel like you did raise an important comment that like, you can actually meet people who you already know.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
In your dating app section. But you can also meet people that you could have probably never even crossed paths with if you think about it.
I never met the Viking man. The fact that we went to the same event was a sheer coincidence.
Yeah.
Was Daisy meeting the Viking man actually sheer coincidence? Or was it destiny all along? Also, will Daisy reveal why men with cats are a red flag for her?
Because honestly, that makes no sense to me.
Anyways, find out next time on Date Chats with Daisy and Yannet. And remember to embrace the day.